TDC to build a shopping mall in Kaduna. The mall is scheduled for commissioning by December 2016. A number of other investors have indicated interest in building additional malls and five-star hotel, which would create jobs and make Kaduna a center for domestic tourism. We have initiated a scheme to revive taxi services in our major urban centers, starting with 200 branded air-conditioned cabs in Kaduna metropolis. Prospective owner drivers are expected to deposit about 10% of the discounted price of the vehicles and pay the balance in installments over a period of 4 years. Hundreds of our youths have now been shortlisted for training with a view to empowering them as owner-drivers of these taxis in due course. We've also tried to reform local governments. We have appointed interim management committees for all the 23 local government councils in our state. As we pledged during our campaign, we have announced that the state government will not touch a kobo of local government money. Rather, when federal allocations for the local governments arrive in the joint account, we'll add 10% of the state's internally generated revenue to it and give it to the local government councils. We expect that the financial autonomy will be used to accelerate development in the grassroots. Therefore, local government councils must also cut costs and take concrete steps to reverse the monthly deficit of 700 million naira that they jointly incur. We insist that every local government must live within its means. We have stopped the practice of using funds from largely rural local governments to subsidize the salary bills of urban local governments that tend to be overstaffed. Local government councils would not be allowed to spend more than 50% of their revenues on recurrent expenditure, and they have been guided on the capital projects that their communities expect as priorities. On land matters, your government has demonstrated its resolve to protect the integrity of the land on which public institutions, such as schools and hospitals, are sited. We are reversing the impunity that led to important personality to conclude that they could take school and hospital land for private purposes. Government is therefore recovering such lands to preserve the security of such institutions and safeguard their ability to expand, which are the reasons that they were allotted such sizes of land in the first place. Appropriate notices have been issued to people who have built on such plots. We thank the public for the widespread support they are giving to these recovery moves. On infrastructure, the Zaria Water Project is one project that has been a problem in the state. We have briefed and secured the support of our lenders and development partners for the accelerated completion of this project by early 2018. We are negotiating a sustainable payment plan to clear the contractor arrears of over 3.5 billion. We are also working on plans for a Kaduna water expansion project, as well as the rehabilitation of other small town water schemes across the state. On rural and community development, our Deputy Governor is leading an effort to mainstream the Pampaida Millennium Village model as a viable model across our rural communities. It will have components to improve health care, education, rural roads, and farming activities that engage most of our rural residents. We are also making efforts to revive textiles industries in the state. We have the support of Mr. President to work on policies and schemes that will revive the textile sector as viable and sustainable employer of labor. We are collaborating with the federal government, current and potential textile investors, and the states of Zamfara, Katsina, and Kano on a package that stimulates the value chain from cotton farming to textiles production and garmenting. I will now speak a little bit about what we hope to do going forward. Based on our manifesto and campaign pledges, your government will be implementing the following measures to improve the welfare of the people. First is land reform. Your government will assist landowners to have security and to be able to unlock the wealth in their land by formalizing and registering their titles. We will computerize all the land records in the state and implement the Kaduna Geographic Information Service, starting with Kaduna, Zaria, and Kafanchan metropolitan areas. This is to ensure that our people get certificates of occupancy for all their plots of land and improve security of their land holdings. On urban development, we are concerned that the three major cities in Kaduna State, Kaduna, Zaria, and Kafanchan, are no more than glorified local government headquarters. This administration is developing a master plan to transform these cities into modern urban centers with every conceivable facility like improved transportation, traffic management, leisure and shopping facilities, recreational and neighborhood centers. This process will involve the creation of thousands of jobs in several sectors. We are also concerned about Kaduna being clean, the entire state being clean. We are starting a campaign to keep Kaduna State clean. This entails public enlightenment as well as enforcement measures and an improved system of public waste management. On education, we are committed to making our public schools safe environments for learning by commencing the comprehensive repairs of schools and the provision of furniture, water, toilets, and other facilities. We shall also be training our teachers to remedy the skills gaps revealed by the teacher audits. Your government will be recruiting more teachers in the core subjects of mathematics, English, and the sciences and information technology. These are the steps that will inject quality into our pledge to provide free education up to junior secondary school level. We have taken also a firm decision to vastly improve the feeding of students in our boarding schools, starting from this September. We will start with boarding secondary schools, for which we have requested the State House of Assembly to approve a virement of 1 billion naira. On pensioners, it is unacceptable that retired people should face pension headaches after a lifetime of work. We shall take steps to resolve this matter, ensure that pensions are properly funded, and pass an updated law to make pensions a sustainable undertaking by committing the state to an improved contributory pension scheme consistent with the Pensions Reform Act of 2014. On the physically challenged persons and destitutes, we have a responsibility to every section of our society, including the physically challenged. Our duty is to train every person, every willing person, to acquire the skills that can help them be productively engaged. We neither believe that destitution is a profession, nor will we condemn anyone to the misery of begging. Rather, all our rehabilitation centers will be retooled to impart viable skills, and we shall have a microcredit scheme to assist people to start up their small businesses after undergoing training. We have had to effect some emergency measures to take beggars and hawkers off the streets in response to the recent security issues. But we shall abide by the commitment we made during our campaigns. We have this week named a special assistant on persons with disability to drive this component of our agenda. On township roads and street lights. Neighborhood and township roads in our major urban centers are being earmarked for upgrading to the extent that we can within this rainy season. More extensive work will begin as soon as the rains are over in all the local government headquarters in the state. We consider it intolerable that Kaduna has become a city of darkness. We shall provide street lights, brighten up our city, and thereby help deter crime. We are also implementing a multi-layer transport architecture over the next 4 years, by God's grace, which will include preparations, studies, and projects to put in place, first, the new cab scheme and expanding the project to Zaria and Kafanchan. A BRT system for mass transit starting with Kaduna metropolitan area. A major project to establish Kaduna-Zaria rapid transit system between Shika, Samaru, and Zaria through and within Kaduna metropolis up to the Kaduna refinery. And new bus and truck terminals in Kaduna, Tafa, Mararabanjos, Kafanchan, and Zaria. On youth employment, our drive to recruit 50 youths per ward in the next 4 years to work in some government agencies as traffic, environmental, and sanitary inspectors will commence this year, with about 10 persons per ward. We have reconstituted the board and leadership of Castelia to to enable this process to start soon. These job openings are being advertised very soon. Dear people of Kaduna State, we ask for your support and understanding as we do the work you elected us to do. There is so much to do with fewer resources. We are working to do the things that improve public welfare and that empowers people to make the best use of their talents. We do not regard poverty as something to be exploited. Rather, we understand that governance imposes on us a duty to tackle poverty, fight its causes, and empower the citizens to rise above the ravages of their circumstances. We are irrevocably committed to a leaner, less expensive government with well-motivated civil servants, teachers, and healthcare workers. We need an efficient public service to be able to deliver public goods, and we shall get it. As we make political appointments to help drive our development agenda, we are seeking people who have capacity to do the job in a way that benefits all of society rather than the appointee or the patrons of the appointees. Good governance requires that we select the best persons to serve the public. The notion that public offices are meant to be distributed without attention to quality has seen the elevation of unsuitable persons into such positions, with disastrous consequences for our state and our country. We have sent the signals that change really means placing the needs of the people as our priority, not for us to surrender to vested interests and the desire to preserve their privileges at the expense of our people. Those that use to corner fertilizers, grains, and other items, or infect our civil service with ghost workers, or inflate and abandon contracts will certainly be unhappy. But we shall not be distracted from our priorities to deliver public services to our people. At the end of our tenure, you, the people of Kaduna State, will judge whether we did our best for peace and security, whether we built and repaired the schools and hospitals we promised, whether we recruited and trained more teachers, whether we got more doctors and nurses into our hospitals, whether we promoted jobs and skills for our youths. My fellow citizens of Kaduna State, we are not elected to pander to the desire of a minority. We are elected by majority votes to serve the many, and so shall we. We will continue to interact with you, the citizens of this state, through our monthly town hall meetings and weekly briefings by commissioners and heads of each ministry, department, and agency on the respective activities and results achieved in the service of our people. We have made some difficult choices and shall make even more in the future, but all our decisions are geared towards improving our state. We will listen and make adjustments if we are, but we will never shy away from taking painful decisions today that secure the future of our children tomorrow. Hope was invested in us to perform, and we will not deliver despair. We shall remain worthy of that hope in your service. God bless the people of Kaduna State. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Good evening.